Have you ever wondered where the roots of our modern society lie? Picture it, the 19th century, a time when the air in Britain hummed with the energy of change. The whole nation was on the brink of an era, marked by dramatic shifts in social norms, significant political reforms, and groundbreaking technological innovation. From the echoes of the Luddite protests to the footsteps of the Chartist movement, Britain was a whirlwind of transformation. As we delve into this remarkable era, we'll explore 5 pivotal moments that forever changed the landscape of the century. Moments that not only shaped Britain but sent ripples of change across the globe. So, buckle up as we journey back in time to the 19th century Britain. Our journey begins with the Luddite movement, a rebellion against the machine. This was a time when skilled textile workers, fearing the loss of their livelihoods to industrialization, took a stand. Picture this. It's the early 19th century, and technological advancements are rapidly changing the fabric of society. But not everyone is celebrating. These craftsmen, known as the Luddites, see these machines as a threat to their traditional way of life. In a bold act of defiance, they embark on a campaign of destruction, smashing the very machines they believe are stealing their jobs. This doesn't sit well with the authorities, who respond with force, leading to violent clashes. It's a story of fear, defiance, and a desperate struggle to preserve a way of life. The Luddite movement, a symbol of resistance, remains a poignant reminder of the human cost of technological change. From the textile mills, we move to the factories, where a different kind of revolution was brewing. As the Industrial Revolution churned on, factories became the new workplaces. But these were not the safe, regulated environments we know today. Far from it. They were often dangerous places, filled with perilous machinery. And among those navigating these hazards were children, some as young as 6, working long hours in dreadful conditions. The public outcry over these horrors led to the Factory Act of 1833, a landmark legislation in Britain's history. This act, for the first time, set limits on working hours, particularly for children. It also established a minimum age limit for factory employment. These were early yet crucial steps towards the recognition and enforcement of labor rights. This was more than just a law. It was the acknowledgement of a basic human right to safety and dignity at work. The Factory Act of 1833 marked a significant step towards the betterment of workers' rights. Now let's shift gears and head to the world of transportation, a world that was about to be transformed by the power of steam and iron. The development of railways in the 19th century was a game-changer. It was a time when the landscape of Britain started to change dramatically, with snaking lines of iron rail crisscrossing the countryside, connecting towns and cities like never before. At the forefront of this revolution was a man named George Stephenson, often referred to as the father of railways. A self-taught engineer and inventor, Stephenson was instrumental in the development and widespread adoption of steam locomotives. His designs were not just innovative, they were reliable, efficient, and they set the standard for the industry. Stephenson's crowning achievement came in the year 1825 with the successful operation of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. This wasn't just any railway, it was the world's first public railway to use steam locomotives. Imagine the sight of locomotion number 1, Stephenson's pioneering steam engine barreling down the tracks, pulling a train laden with coal, goods, and passengers. It must have been a sight to behold, a symbol of progress hurtling towards the future. The Stockton and Darlington Railway was more than just a technological marvel, it was a catalyst for change. It sparked a railway mania that swept across Britain and then the world. Towns and cities once isolated were now connected, trade flourished, and the movement of goods and people became faster and more efficient. But the impact of the railways went beyond commerce and travel. They transformed the very fabric of society. Time, once dictated by the sun, was now governed by the timetable. The concept of a standard time, synchronized across the country, was born out of the necessity to keep the trains running on schedule. The development of railways revolutionized transportation, fueling Britain's industrial growth. But it did more than that. It transformed the way people lived, worked, and interacted with the world around them. It was a journey that began with a puff of steam and a length of iron rail, and it changed the world forever. From the rails, we journey to the grand halls of the Great Exhibition of 1851. This spectacular event, held in London's Hyde Park, was a showpiece of the era's most groundbreaking technologies and industrial advancements. Orchestrated by Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's consort, the exhibition was an audacious display of Britain's industrial prowess and global influence. Within the specially constructed Crystal Palace, a marvel of glass and iron, were exhibits from around the world. Yet it was the British exhibits that took center stage. The telegraph, a communication revolution in its own right, was among the many wonders on display. But not all the marvels were high-tech. The retiring rooms, essentially the world's first public toilets, were a novelty that drew in the crowds and even charged a penny for usage. The Great Exhibition was more than an event. It was a testament to human innovation and a tangible symbol of the Industrial Revolution. The Great Exhibition showcased Britain's industrial prowess to the world. Our final stop takes us to the realm of political reform, the Chartist movement. Emerging in the mid-19th century, the Chartists represented a powerful force for political change. They championed the rights of the working class, advocating for a complete overhaul of the existing electoral system. Their demands were radical for the time, but have since become cornerstones of modern democracy. The Chartists called for universal suffrage, the right to vote for all men, regardless of their wealth or social standing. They sought the implementation of secret ballots to protect voters from coercion and to ensure the integrity of the electoral process. Lastly, they pushed for the abolition of property qualifications for voting, a barrier that had long excluded the working class from political participation. But the road to reform was not easy. The Chartists faced fierce opposition, and their movement was ultimately unsuccessful. However, their legacy endured. The Chartist movement, though unsuccessful in its time, laid the groundwork for later political reforms. So, those were the 5 key moments that shaped 19th century Britain. From the rebellion of the Luddites fearing the loss of their livelihoods to the machines, to the Factory Act of 1833, which marked an early step towards labor rights, addressing the dire working conditions in factories, especially for children. Then we have the incredible development of railways, with George Stephenson leading the way, revolutionizing transportation and connecting the country like never before. The grandeur of the Great Exhibition of 1851 showcased the technological and industrial marvels of the era, including the telegraph and the innovative retiring rooms. Finally, the Chartist movement, a significant push for political reform, advocating for universal suffrage, secret ballots, and the end of property qualifications for voting, all of which have had profound impacts on political systems, not only in Britain, but around the world. These moments were not just isolated incidents, but catalysts of change that set in motion waves of social, technological, and political transformation. They shaped the future of Britain and had far-reaching influences, rippling out to touch societies worldwide. As we journey back to our time, remember that the echoes of these transformative moments still resonate in our modern world.